Newsfirst, Newsline with Faraz Shaukat Ali.
A very good evening to you and welcome to Newsline Zoom. Thank goodness for technology because I'm not in Sri Lanka, I'm outside. My guest is in Sri Lanka and he's not anywhere close to the studio. But lo and behold, here we are. And our guest this evening is Mr. Chathuranga Abeysinghe, member of the executive committee of the NPP, of which the JVP is a component member of. And let's say good evening and welcome to Mr. Chathuranga Abeysinghe.
Good evening for us.
And the NPP, what's the Sinhalese name for the NPP?
Jatika Jana Balavegya.
That's it. So you need to make sure that you're voting for the right party, the Jatika Bala.
It's the compass. So we commonly call as Malimav. Everybody knows it now. So it's very familiar now.
Very good indeed. But Sri Lanka is entering, hopefully, this local government poll situation amidst a sea of challenges. We have got the economic crisis. We have got the political crisis. We have got the social crisis. We have got the tax crisis. We have got the pensions crisis. We have got all sorts of crises. And it appears that the biggest problem we have is that there is no plan. We have the president of Sri Lanka, who's sort of an interim president, although he doesn't believe that he is, who says, and he admits openly, almost Gerald Rutner-esque in his statement, that he has no forward plan. What an amazing statement from an amazing president in a country that is facing bankruptcy. Let's put a perspective to all this by asking our guest this evening, Chathuranga Abeysinghe. Chathuranga, what are the challenges you face or will candidates face in their quest to convince the voters that they need to be voting for your party or any other party? What are the challenges?
For us, firstly, at this point, I walked so much in the Kotte area. So I'm running as a mayoral candidate for Kotte municipality. So what I see is there's a lot of enthusiasm and people are waiting for election, right? So there is the majority is that waiting for an election, and very interestingly, when you see some like a team coming further away, the residents ask from which party. So that's the interesting experience I have. So based on, and you have to shout and say you're from this, then you get a chance to speak. So that is the level of rejection people are having for corrupt political culture. And I think the citizens are much aware, especially the Kotte area, very well educated area. There is a lot of professionals and businessmen in that. So the second thing is that I think so for most of the parties, their identity, there's a problem with identity. So when you try to campaign and talk to people, people will judge you first. So that's one of the challenges I think commonly everybody will have. And there is certain portion of people who would say, we are fed up of politics, we got cheated so many times, therefore we don't want to vote, right? So I think that's another challenge that we need to convince people how important that they should vote against corruption. If they feel cheated, if they feel let down, they should obviously vote. So that's another challenge that we faced on the ground. Apart from that, cost is high compared to some other elections. So those are things that I've seen on the ground. I'm not 100% sure about other parties.
Isn't the biggest problem really, it's not particular to you or your party, but it's a general thing. We are 75 years into our independence. We have got so many councils, local government authorities and so on, and provincial councils. We have all that. But, 75 years into our independence, not a single one of these are functioning properly. And isn't the real reason for that a lack of a cohesive plan? There is not one single council that I can think of where they're functioning superbly well, delivering to their people of the area, and where, garbage collection isn't a problem, and street lighting, and, where it's a model area. Isn't that all due to a lack of planning on the part of politicians, including your party too, because you all had Hambantota?
Yeah, so for us, I think, again, it comes back to why people get into politics, right? So there are three structures. So we have this local structure, and then the provincial council and the parliament. But whoever has joined these councils and took over power has had their own mandate of utilizing the budget in that. But we did not had a cohesive plan from central to the local level to how to uplift the lives of the people, and how do you make the lives easy, how do you make things efficient, how do you have a more cleaner and a nicer city. So that vision has been lacking. So since you mentioned about the Hambantota, the Tissamaharama, the Pradesh Sabha, the JVP held from 2002, that probably is one of our greatest examples of how a municipality or a council should be run. So 2002, they got 6 seats out of 12, and they established the government. And they did so many things in terms of change, bringing technology to preschools, waste disposal system, a cleaner market. And they also saved so much of money for the council. And they won with the majority in 2006. With 9 of the members out of the 12. So there's so much of misinformation about that council and how it was lost. So it was lost in 2009, especially with the winning of the election, winning of the war. So the whole, there was a shift in the voting patterns, and they kept the local councils one after another when it was not held at once. So there's a story behind it, but what I'm trying to say is, not apart from that, generally the local councillors are mostly abiding by they are aligned to the corrupt political culture. Now, for us, you might know Colombo is 18 billion rupee income generating council and municipality. Now, Kotte is a 1.7 billion rupee annual income municipality. We can do wonders for us. The urban council has so much of power to uplift people, from pregnant mothers to preschools to primary education to vocational training to entrepreneurship to even changing the traffic lights. The mayor has the power. So it's a super setup, and it has so much of say in the municipality. But I think the citizens are not aware what the municipality should do, because people, even now these days, when I talk to people, when I ask what do you really want, they talk about the garbage, because that's the only thing people expect the urban council to do. But the society is broken. There's so much of poverty, especially in these two municipalities. The capital, the Kotte municipality, 30% plus poverty, and Colombo is crossing 40% in poverty. So nothing has significantly changed for the lives of the majority. And the safety is a concern for us. Now, I reached out to so much of people. They are super wealthy, I would guess, so much of doing well in their personal lives. But, houses with so much of security, walls built to the top of it, there's no ventilation. People are not safe. They are not getting out of their houses, because we, in this Kotte municipality itself, there's 7,500 drug addicts. So it's not a city. It's just that it has developed with, in some physical structures, but these are not future cities that we should aspire to. So we need to have a vision to build the cities to become global cities.
And you have that vision, do you?
Yes, for us. So I think we always have those vision, and especially for Kotte, what we are talking about is two-pronged approach. One is a modern citizen. What would the modern citizen state should be? The citizen should have the basic living standards and freedom to enjoy their lives, and also the citizens should digitally connected, they go on. So yeah, as far as I can go on to say that just one sentence, we are looking at two sides. One is a citizen. How do you develop the citizen? The other one is the council. How do you make the council more efficient and transparent?
Tell me, a frequent sort of complaint on my part, whichever council it is, whether it's in Kotte or whether it's in the CMC, and it's this: when we come to park, you get some chap who's not turned out properly to start with. He's devoid of any sort of uniform, but he does have a sort of some kind of day glow jacket on, and he produces a ticket and he says, you've got to pay. But there's nothing to indicate to me that there's no board there to say that I've got to pay. And why should I pay? Because I think that they are one of your 7,500 drug addicts, and that they're trying to try one on me. And it's the same. I park around our office on the other side of Dawson Street, and it's the same thing. Excepting there, we're used to the same guy, so we're prepared to think that he might be telling the truth. But why can't we have any signage? The guy who's winning the tender should put up a signage authorized by the Kotte municipality.
Yeah, so for us, two things. Now, when you hand over these assignments or outsource these things, there should be proper standards the governors should look into. Now, for example, as you said, if there's an area that is demarcated that needs parking charges, it should be in a website and communicated to all the citizens, from this day onwards, this area has been demarcated as a chargeable area first. And second, when you are giving any kind of money, now we are in 2023, we should be able to provide you a digital certificate or a digital receipt after that is done. For example, even you get a physical ticket, they are supposed to write your vehicle number. Then someone can enter it back into the system and we can send you SMS to say for us, thank you for the payment and this will go into the betterment of the citizens. That is the transparency we can bring. It's not huge AI-driven technology or, next level technology. It's basic information flow. So that's why the people don't have trust. That's why you don't know whether that person is a licensed person, because again, where is that identity card or whatever? And there is no communication to the people in that area. This is the designated team who's going to do that. This is the person. Now, if you give a contract out, you and I don't know who has taken the contract, right? We should know, okay, this X, Y, and Z company is taking care of this area, and this is their review, this is their monthly progress, and it's published in a website. So we need to communicate first. There is enough technology to do that for us. I don't think these people really want to do it because those contracts are part of commission structures.
Commission structure. Let's, after the break, let's come back and ask candidate Chathuranga Abeysinghe what his plan is for his Kotte area, where he hopes to be the mayoral candidate. Well, he is the mayoral candidate, and he's hoping to end up as the mayor. And so the people in Kotte, who compose of lots of people who are, shall we say, high net worth individuals, and sort of spitting distance from Sri Lanka's parliament. And I deliberately said spitting distance of the parliament because the parliament is sometimes held with great disdain. But let's find out after the break, when we take during the break, we take a peek and not a leak. A peek at this evening's headline news from the Primetime News team. We'll see you on the other side of the break with Chathuranga Abeysinghe.
Newsfirst, Newsline with Faraz Shaukat Ali.
Newsfirst headlines. Main sponsor.
Durden's Hospital, dedicated to you.
Passport services delayed due to system issue. Many applicants head home empty-handed. medicines and medical equipment are in severe short supply. Health workers demand solutions. National Council tells CEB and PUCSL to meet before amending electricity tariffs. Printing of ballot papers underway. More than 37,000 postal vote applications rejected. Election Commission says balance funds for local government election pending.
News First headlines. Main sponsor.
Durden's Hospital, dedicated to you. Experience the best in healthcare at Durden's Hospital's new Alfred Place wing. We continue to evolve into a purpose-built hospital of the future, with an ambience built to deliver world-class care. Durden's Hospital, dedicated to you.
Newsfirst Newsline with Faraz Shaukat Ali.
And welcome back to Newsline Zoom. We are in conversation this evening with Mr. Chathuranga Abeysinghe, who hopes to end up as the mayor of the Kotte area, especially after the success of his time on Newsline, of course. Chathuranga Abeysinghe, let me ask you, what is your plan? Everybody says that nobody has a plan, but maybe you're young and you're trying to be the mayor. What's your plan? Have you got like a 3-point plan for your area, for Kotte?
We do have 5-point plans for us. So
okay, you have a 5-point plan.
So basically, before we, do something or solve a problem, we need to understand the problem, right? So we've identified few areas that needs fixing, especially within the next 3 to 5 years. Now, we are a city which also has a lot of migrants, right? So we have about 120,000 people residing and 20,000 people temporarily located. And this is also growing, and the city's size is also not able to accommodate this. There's impacts of this population, and also the poverty. Even for us, you mentioned that we have a lot of high wealthy individuals, 30 to 40, especially about 30% of the population lives in soaring poverty, and it's worsening. When I go to those places, people have lost their job. There's no day work, daily work is no more. So there's a huge problem in poverty and the living standards, especially the food crisis. And we also do have a lot of opportunity to on the untapped revenue. We have a 1.7 billion plan for this year, but then we are an ancient city and we have so much of places and so much of things that we could do to uplift the income like Colombo does. And from the biodiversity side, right, we have the most important Ramsar wetlands, and that is actually taking care of whole of Colombo, and it's at risk at this point. And as we all know, there's a mismanagement of funds in the area, in the council itself, that there's about 1,000 odd workforce, and there's about so much of mismanagement and corruption that has taken place. And especially for us in this area, as you said, there's educated people, there's no participatory governance. Citizens are not being heard, citizens are not being consulted, citizens are not being part of the governing system. So these are the basic steps that we've identified as the issues, but from a priority perspective, elevating poverty and improving the standard of living comes the number one on top of my agenda. Because of the economic crisis, people are not living properly. An efficient, transparent council. So before we get into power, tomorrow we are launching the website for this area. So people of the citizens can contract directly with my team and myself. So you can share your ideas. And then we want to make it a digitally connected city for us, since 60 to 70% of the people are, are connected already on digital terms and are technologically savvy. We need to ensure that they don't come into the council. We need to ensure they are efficient, their lives are efficient, and we have a two-way communication going to the citizens. And the biodiversity piece is a very much important thing that we will have to put a preservation for the Ramsar wetlands. Lastly, it's about happy and healthy citizens. All citizens need to have a better life for us. Even in Kotte, there's no recreation, there's no dramas, there's no music theater, there's no a movie theater, a proper movie theater for the citizens. They also still have to go to Colombo. So there's a lot of...
Does your area also include the parliament, the areas around the parliament?
Yes.
And so
one side, only the one side of it. For us, not.
See, because from memory, I know people who live on Adhikara Mawata and that sort of side of things. They used to have a lot of flooding. Is flooding now a thing of the past over there?
Still less problem. So because most of this wetland has been, filled and built, buildings. Some still doesn't have the approvals. So these things we need to look into, and even going forward, for us, the city should be designed for 20 to 30 years. You can't just, do changes then and there when you want, because first of all, we need to design this city for longer run, and also to ensure that we don't hinder the ecosystem of the place. And we have to be careful in giving approval to certain development projects. But again, some of these things are not under control of the urban council. You know that we have the Urban Development Authority and the provincial council and the central government. And I'm pretty sure we are going to win the whole the system after we win the local election. So I will have support of the NPP to fix this city.
And when you are, how are you campaigning? Is it mainly house to house, or is it using the smartphone, social media? How are you campaigning?
Okay, so I will give tips to everyone else. So yeah, three approaches for us. So I have 21 votes, and the teams on the ground are going to door to door. Already we have covered about 70% of the houses. And then we do have a BTL network, that is below the line WhatsApp groups. And that's where we would connect. And mostly we are going through referral systems, because I would say 50% of the houses are not reachable in this area. Because, on daytimes they are not available, or they're not really ready to come and talk to us. So we are using networks to reach the people. And we are also using technology as digital media. And obviously tomorrow we are launching the website so everybody can see what we are trying to do.
And a final question to you, Chathuranga Abeysinghe. Do you detect a sort of a wave of support for the NPP? Because that's what I'm hearing. I hear that there is, NPP, there's a rally for the NPP. Do you recognize that?
I think it's a tsunami. So it's more than a rally for us. So all the houses, we visited most of the houses, welcomed us first. They were open to listen to us. They had doubts about our, history and governance and things, but we came into conclusion that we need to end the corruption for once as a country. And especially the reason that people like us moved into this is to end this political culture. So people understand that well, and obviously they are going to make a change, and they are going to experiment this opportunity. Because they've been cheated, they know that it never happens. And since we have put a great team together, I have 3 urban council members who has not taken a single cent from the system. So that brings credibility, including Arosh Atapattu, who has been there for 15 years. And I bring my knowledge of governance and KPIs or measurements and technology, whatnot, over 15 years of corporate life. So I think we are building a lot of confidence. People who has never spoken to us is speaking to us. We are having a very good network of business community getting alongside me. Mm-hmm. I think at Kotte, it's going to be a tsunami.
A tsunami in terms of the election results. Let's see if how accurate that prediction by Chathuranga Abeysinghe will be in the next few weeks as you tune in to your favorite news channel, the Newsfirst team, and especially this program, Newsline. whether it is live or whether it is by Zoom. We bring it to you, all the news that you want to know on Newsline. Chathuranga Abeysinghe, thank you very much for being on Newsline Zoom.
Thank you for us. Thank you for the opportunity.
And it's now time for the primetime news from that wonderful primetime news team. Take care. Have a great evening as much as you can. And of course, as always, God bless you all.